Ironglass wasn't built by any living species. It floated on the edge of a red dwarf's dying light, wrapped in quantum storms and protected by war-era AI. Nothing entered without being scanned. Nothing left without being erased. And yet, two souls were coming for it. Yarazel adjusted the neural mesh that wrapped her bioluminescent head. The Zalathai were a harmonic species, emotionally bonded, spiritually disciplined. Yara had left their high choir after what they called the fracture. But now, for Ellian Vos, she'd risk it all. Beside her, Reed Kale, human smuggler turned resistance pilot, stared at the prison with the cold intensity of someone who'd been there once before. "Still think we're insane?" he asked. "I think insanity is a requirement," Yara replied. "You humans weaponize desperation like it's a virtue." Reed cracked a tired smile. "And you aliens overthink everything. That's why this might actually work." They had one chance. One shot to rescue Ellian Vos, a man too dangerous for both corrupt human governments and the Zalathai Council. A man whose only crime was speaking the truth. And Ironglass would not let him go easily. Their plan was built on paradoxes. Ironglass was designed to reject brute force. It adapted to energy signatures, learned psychic patterns, and even manipulated probability. But chaos, illogic, those were human specialties. Reed had rigged a series of semi-sentient virus clusters, called gremlins. Each would interfere with a different subsystem, power routing, temporal drift dampeners, spatial locks. Meanwhile, Yara had encoded emotional dissonance patterns into her aura, a technique that made the prison's AI systems misread her as multiple people. It was ugly, desperate, messy, and it was working. They slipped inside during a maintenance cycle, riding the wake of an automated cleaning drone. Inside, everything felt wrong. Walls shifted subtly when you weren't looking. Lights pulsed out of rhythm. Whispers, not voices, rattled in the bones. Yara winced as a wave of psychic static washed over her. "The prison is alive." "Good," Reed muttered. "That means it can bleed." Ellian Vos hadn't moved in 143 cycles. The time dilation cell kept his body in perfect stasis, but his mind wandered. He remembered Reed's reckless grin, Yara's harmonic laughter, and the scent of ozone from plasma fire. When they finally stepped through the shielding veil, he thought it was a dream. "Ellian," Yara's voice echoed with real emotion. She touched the field, her light flaring red and violet. "You two idiots actually came," he said weakly. "Rescue mission, premium delivery." Reed smirked. "You can't deactivate the field," Ellian warned. "It's quantum locked. If you touch it wrong, it'll shatter my body across time." "Yeah," Reed said. "I hate quantum stuff." Yara knelt and closed her eyes, hands outstretched. She wasn't trying to deactivate the field. She was singing to it. A low harmonic pulse built in her chest. The prison AI's psychic sensors began to echo back, unsure whether to resist or join the melody. "She's syncing with the prison's emotional network," Ellian said, stunned. "Yeah," Reed said, placing a distortion beacon. "And I'm syncing it with a thermite bomb." They worked in tandem, Yara with harmony, Reed with chaos. And the lock cracked. Ellian collapsed into their arms. For a moment, they were whole again. The escape wasn't easy. The prison reacted like a wounded beast. Walls slammed shut. Air thinned. Gravity rotated on axes that didn't exist. Worse, the prison began using illusions, constructing false memories from their own minds. Yara saw her sister, dead for a century, begging her to stay. Reed saw Earth, burning, and his father screaming at him from a collapsing building. Ellian saw the council chambers, his speech playing over and over again. The day he lost everything. Yara snapped them out with a focused burst of discordant harmony. "They're not real." "Speak for yourself," Reed muttered, wiping away tears. They fought through nanite swarms, inverse gravity wells, and neural disruptors. But the worst part was knowing the prison was learning. It had begun using Yara's own harmonics against her, replaying her thoughts back at destabilizing frequencies. She started bleeding light from her eyes. "You're burning out," Reed said. "If I stop now," she whispered, "we all die." At the exit bay, a singularity gate awaited them. Ironglass's final failsafe. Only one can go through, Ellian said, reading the RHA car symbols. Wrong, Reed said, tossing him a small transponder. You're going through. Then you pilot the lantern in. Pick us up from the outside. You won't survive the collapse, Ellian argued. Reed grinned. Yara's got magic light. I've got duct tape and dumb luck. Yara touched Ellian's forehead gently. We believe in you. Don't waste it. He hesitated, then ran. Ironglass threw everything it had left. Temporal feedback loops, spatial paradox corridors, even emotional manipulation, projecting the faces of every person they had failed. Reed kept moving. Yara started flickering like a dying star. We're out of time, she whispered. Then let's steal some. They reached the final power core. Reed tossed the gremlin cluster in and triggered the human code virus. GODSB1TCH_protocol. A ridiculous name only a human would invent. The AI screamed in frequencies no living mind should hear. Reality began to unravel. The lantern emerged through the rift, piloted by Ellian's shaking hands. He locked onto Reed and Yara, barely visible through the chaos. Then the signal cut out. For a moment, he thought they were gone. Then, a burst of harmonic light cut through the rift. Yara's energy collapsed into the lantern's hold, shattered, but alive. Reed stumbled in, clothes scorched, dragging Yara's broken body behind him. They jumped. Ironglass folded in on itself, screaming into the void. Gone. Epilogue: The Song of Glass. Months later, Ellian stood before the Galactic Unity Council. He told them everything. About Ironglass. About the corruption. About the cost. The council was forced to reform. Yara, her body nearly destroyed, entered a Zalathai crystal slumber to heal. Reed never left her side. When she awoke, years later, her first words were, "Did we win?" Reed smiled. "We broke the unbreakable." If the breaking of Ironglass stirred something in you, if you felt the weight of sacrifice, defiance, and raw human will, then don't let this story fade in silence. Hit that like button if you believe humanity stands strongest when it's cornered. Subscribe for more epic HFY stories where humans rewrite the rules of war. Comment below. What would you have done behind the walls of Ironglass? This isn't just a sci-fi tale. It's a warning. It's a tribute. And above all, it's human.